everybody. Happy hump day. Middle of the week. So this is where we got to grind it out, right? This is where we say, all right, am I going to make it through the rest of the week? So, of course, today I made the topic a little deeper, a little heavier, right? Because if we can get through it, then we can get through the rest of the week. Good morning, Kristen. Good morning, Ivana. Good morning, Bronny. Bronny, I'm glad you're here today. I think you're going to like this one. So, this today was really inspired by a student last night at the development circle. I had them all do like this quick little 1-minute reading thing, and it was so much fun. We had such a great time at Circle. I made them do an Easter egg hunt. You have all these grown people, and I did. I hid Easter eggs. I made the incentive really enticing, and they all went on an Easter egg hunt, and I think they really had a good time. But during this circle, one of the students said something in a reading that I thought was like, this is something we all deal with, and this is something, that we all can work through and help. So good morning, Stephen. All right, and this is forgiveness. Now, we use this word forgiveness so lightly sometimes, and maybe we don't really understand all the steps that are behind it or really what it means. And so I thought, let's talk about it today, and let's see if any of you, have anyone in your life that you need to forgive. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for something, or forgive what somebody's done to you. So there's lots of areas in which forgiveness kind of takes effect. But yeah, I see the hearts. You guys are going to like this one. But basically, why do we forgive? Does it mean we forget what happened? No. Does it mean we just move past it? No, because I think what happens is, how it is, it replays in your mind that memory you created around the incident or situation. It keeps replaying in your mind like a recorder. So it's not the actual incident, it's really what we're doing. It's psychologically what we're doing to ourselves, that pain, that hurt that we're holding on to, that anger, that resentment. And sometimes we just don't know how to let it go. You want to, but you're not really sure how, right? You just say, oh, I just want to feel fine. But like anything, like grief, sometimes it takes steps to kind of work through it. But staying in these feelings really creates distress for us, and it really prevents you from moving forward or achieving your highest good, because it is holding you back at some point. I'm sure some of you can agree with it, but it just sits with your soul. So what happens is it becomes this story. It becomes this story that we tell ourselves. And we have to find a way to rewrite that story, retell that story, give it a different ending. So when we forgive ourselves or others, and truly forgive, that's really when it lets itself go. But again, just saying you're going to forgive or let bygones be bygones, sometimes if you hold on to something, it doesn't truly allow you to release it. All right? But actually what was interesting, I got, there's a meditation from David G. He's fabulous. I absolutely just love this guy. So if you don't know who David G is, J-I, make sure you look him up. I don't like a lot of meditation just because of how they all speak, right? So, allow yourself to, I can't stand it. I just want to stab the person. I mean that with love and light. No, but David G has a way of talking, and he has just this way of being a little more practical about it and still allowing you to get into that deeper state. So I love him. But he really talked about this forgiveness and kind of some steps. So I adopted those steps, and I'm going to share those with you. Good morning, Shelby. All right. So it can be just toxic, right? So what's interesting is he mentioned this quote that is in the Bible, but it is very, very interesting. When we forgive ourselves, we free ourselves from the bind from the one that hurt us. Like, that's really interesting. So when we forgive ourselves, we free ourselves from that bind from the one that hurt us. Because this forgiving really is for you. So the forgiveness is for you. It's for your own sake, for your own sanity, for your own freedom. It's not for the other person. Okay? It's just to help yourself. So a couple things to do. One is you have to say to yourself, am I ready? Am I ready to release this story? Am I ready to replace the grievance, the hurt, the pain, the anger, the resentment with forgiveness? Am I holding on to something out of spite? Because you may be holding on to something out of spite, but do you know that person may not even be thinking about it? They may not even giving it a second thought. And there you are, manifesting, mustering, marinating in it, simmering. So you have to let it go, but for you, right? Because you deserve that. You deserve that peace. You deserve that freedom. So what's happening is, so you're not attached to the memory. So you don't have to really let go of the memory. It's this emotional pain and charge that's around the memory that we have to let go of. It's this emotional angst that has happened, right? So how do we do that? Well, you know, the first thing is just to kind of ground yourself, center yourself. Again, ask yourself, am I ready to release this? Good morning, Jackie. Am I ready to release this? Am I ready to let it go? And if the answer is yes, then start to center yourself. Maybe ask a friend, you know, just to kind of like bounce it off of, right? Be a sounding board, a therapist, something like that, you know, but get it out of you. That's the thing, is start talking about it, but start preparing, and then you have to identify the source. The way to do that is, you know, you can write about it. That really helps. Especially automatic writing is really great. Just set the intention to say, what is the source of it? What is the trigger of it? What is creating it? So you can write it. It's having also self-reflection, looking at yourself. Could I have played a part in it? How did I play a part in it? Whether that's intentional or unintentional, was there anything in my words or actions or behavior that somehow lent to whatever happened, right? Just things like that. Sherry, you've got a great point. Sherry says it requires more energy to hang on to it than to let it go. I agree with you, but in all practicality, just to say, oh, let's release it, it doesn't always work. I mean, it doesn't for me. I don't know. I mean, if you guys, you know, are bewitched and can go, woo, it's all gone, that's great. But I do think we have to work through it. And I think that that's the thing, Sherry, that sometimes people don't give themselves permission to work through it. But if we can, you're right, that it will be less energy. But I think it takes more effort to initially then work through it. Kind of that grieving process, allow the grieving process. It's kind of similar to that. Allow the forgiveness process. Absolutely. So then we want to mobilize it. Okay. So you got to kind of put it in one thing. Now that you've realized what it is, you can kind of contain it. You can kind of say, all right, this is it. This is the core of what's affecting me or impacting me or hurting me. All right. This is at the core. All right. So let's just imagine it as a ball. All right. Now, let's say you wrote down what you have, right? You wrote it down, or you wrote down your feelings. Now, what we want to do is create this ritual that releases it. Now, I tell you what, burning works fabulous. Me and my friend, we burnt her ex-boy. He gave her a couple gifts. We burnt them. We burned them on Valentine's Day. Was fabulous. Even I felt some release over it. But having this physical release of what you created. So create it, make it in a physical form. So maybe that's a letter to the person, or a letter to yourself, listing your feelings, but creating it, maybe creating it in a ball, or wrapping it up, putting it in something, and then having a physical release of it. So that could be burning it. I do love the burning. Sorry, I keep going back to that, but the burning really works well. But find a way for yourself that works, okay? And it just has to be tangible, because this way it connects to us that it's physically gone. A lot of people will say, take out the trash. Have you heard of that? They call it mental trash, right? Imagine yourself taking out the trash. Well, I'm saying create the physical trash, create it physically, and then literally go throw it out. So burn it, throw it out, or have a ritual for you that somehow symbolizes release. Maybe it's under a full moon. We had one last night, so now you got to wait 29 and a half days. But, you know, releasing it somehow, whatever is going to work for you, right? We are all individuals. So we are all individuals. So whatever is going to work for you is going to work for you. But doing that now, you've let it go. You burnt the heck out of it. It's all done. Ashes to ashes. Now what? Well, like anything, you're dehydrated, right? You've just done this long marathon. You're thirsty. You have to rehydrate, rejuvenate, refill that tank. And it should really feel a little lighter, right? Allow yourself to fill it with goodness and light energy. And that is really the steps to kind of help you to forgiveness. And again, that forgiveness is for you. It's not for anyone else. It really isn't. But it just pulls the pain out. As the girl said last night, you know, it will pull the dagger out of the back, you know, which is, you know, how many of you have allowed someone to put the dagger in the back and it hurts the heart, but you leave the dagger there. We don't think to remove the dagger. That's just a kind of a symbolic way, right? But just allowing yourself to say, how do I remove that? How do I move past my own pain? And maybe that's a work situation. You know, I've had so many people that really were treated poorly at their work, or fired, kind of pushed out or fired or treated poorly, or friendships or relationships. You know, anyone, there's just this pain that is caused. And do we avoid pain in our life? No. It's part of those life lessons, those karmic lessons. The pain is part of the pleasure. It's part of the passion. It's part of the goodness. All the emotions are in the rainbow, right? Doesn't it take all colors to make the rainbow? It feels like it takes all emotions to really create the human being, to create the soul with the physical being. So we can't just say, I'm not going to have those feelings, but it is about allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to release certain feelings, to let go of certain things when they no longer serve our highest good. And that may not be easy. It may take some time. Maybe you'll have to do it a couple times. It may not just be in 1 minute that you can do all of this. But give yourself some space. Be patient with yourself. But really allow yourself to let go of it. You know, we all deserve release. We all deserve to let this stuff go. And really rechange your story, rechange your chapter, rewrite it. You know, you are the author. Rewrite what you want. And again, you know, as one of the other episodes talks about perception, so many things come about perception. And maybe you can fine tune and look at your perception, but allowing yourself to release that pain and that hurt will just give you the freedom. Just give you the freedom. Okay? So anyhow, hoping it helps. Yeah? All right, you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful hump day. I will see you lovely, beautiful, amazing, awesome, super duper human being, light workers, soul soarers tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And thanks you guys so much. Talk to you later. Bye.